When was the last time you talked to Savannah?
Um, I believe it was on her birthday.
And when was that?
Um, I don't remember, but I know it's been very recent.
Recent. When was the last time you talked to Ralgren? Are you finna restart? You remember her? Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel sad
It makes you feel sad. Why does it make you feel sad?
because because even Aretha and Savannah and Jessica and Robert, I think about them daily now because it's like I moved away
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten in so much unwanted trouble. It actually made me wonder um how they are.
How they are?
Yeah.
Did you used to have any problems with Savannah or Ralgren or Jessica or anyone?
I mean, we used to get over a little bit of fights about my art and stuff, but that was back when we were younger. We didn't,
Do y'all talk to each other?
no.
You don't talk to each other? Do you miss anybody that's on your server? Do you miss like Lily? Who you remember Zara?
Zara?
Yeah, she was a friend. She was a friend. She's a friend of Ralgren. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
You remember her? Okay. Um, why do you think about your old friends back then? Why do you think about them so much?
You just want to say hi and how they're doing.
Just want to say hi. If I were to release this podcast, what are the odds of them watching this and saying or commenting, "Hey, I miss you too. We used to get in a lot of shit when we were younger, and to be honest with you, even though it was unnecessary, it was pretty much fun, or even if it was necessary, it was fun." Where are the odds? Because let me tell you something about old friends, Mary. If you've been in music class, you remember that song that your music teacher, when you was in sixth grade, um, had you guys practice for warm up, make new friends, or keep the old was a Girl Scout song.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your new friends now?
I don't know. I have a lot of people who are my friends who I don't really know like that. Like I know the Savannah them.
Mm-hmm. Is Chromastone your friend?
Um, he's kind of like a friend of me.
A friend of me?
Yeah.
You just don't trust him fully yet.
Yeah.
Okay, the Bible says, Father says trust no man, right? So it's okay if you don't trust any of your quote unquote friends. It's okay. Know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about your other people? The other people like S2K and them? Because I was thinking about S2K yesterday and I was like, how do I know how that girl doing? You see what I'm saying? Because we don't know, because we have gotten to a lot of drama recently. However, it's like ever since you've been focusing on the shitpost series and you've been in school and with Catch anything, it feels like that all of that stuff happened 10 years ago when you're only 19. That's literally how it feels. Do you remember when you and Robert got into beef about your drawings?
Mm-hmm.
What you have to say about that now? Now that you're baptized, you don't do this anymore. What you have to say about that? Was he in the right? Was he in the wrong? What was it?
And we were both in the wrong.
Y'all were both in the wrong.
I shouldn't have been drawing that kind of stuff, even if my characters were of age.
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't have been like trying to expose me for it. I should have been ready. I should have been comfortable coming out the closet when I said I was a tunophile. I should have been comfortable. I should have been comfortable. I should have been forced to use it.
Mm-hmm. But do you understand their pain though? Do you understand like this is something that can actually, now that we found out that you did all this because of trauma, do you now understand why they did this? They didn't really do that to try to ruin you. They wanted you to get help, and they knew you needed help, but you didn't offer that. I mean, you didn't take that offer until we found out you were traumatized. And that's why I was like, huh, they were right. You actually needed help because it was trauma. It wasn't because you were doing this because you found it cute or adorable or attractive. You did this because it was a result of your trauma when you were 8. Something that no child should have been going through. So when Chroma Stone and Robert and them were telling us some, you need to stop drawing that or you need help, it looked like from afar that they were just telling you to stop doing these kind of things just because personally they didn't like it. But until we found out when you were 18 that you were traumatized when you were a child, this explains everything. This explains everything. It's not like they were telling you to get help because they didn't like it or whatever. I mean, everyone have their own taste. You can't really get mad at them for that. But I think they sensed that something was wrong with you mentally, something that you couldn't control before we even found out the actual truth why you were doing this. And you weren't doing this because you wanted to, like you always told me. You wouldn't do this for fun, like you always told me. You were doing this, girl, because this is your act of trauma. Everyone deals with trauma in a different way. So Robert and Chroma Stone, even though Chroma Stone kind of went a little bit too far, they weren't really like enemies. They just wanted to see you do better. And they're younger than you. So anytime somebody who's younger than you want to see you do better, do they care about you? When you were doing this stuff when you were 16, when you were 8 years old, when you were doing this stuff when you were 8 years old, have any of your friends told you you need help, you need help, you need help, or did they just like kiki kaka and you just got in trouble for it?
Yeah, it was second.
So they just laughed. So they just laughed with you, and then you still ended up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's the kind of thing that they were trying to talk about. When Savannah told you that she was uncomfortable, right? You say you didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know. Well, let me tell you something, Mary. You don't necessarily have to know if somebody will be comfortable with that kind of material or not just because they're your age and you're a legal adult. That doesn't mean anything. If somebody you have to when it comes down to like NSFW like sex or gore or like violence or whatever, you have to make sure that people are okay with this. Especially if you're talking about a private setting like Discord, because Discord is not a public setting. You can't just search anybody's name online and get their Discord account. That's not how Discord works. It's literally a private network, it's a private setting. It's considered social media because you can join servers, but really it's a private setting because you can't just search anybody's name in their Discord concept. Unless they're like extremely popular. But even if that is the case, you still cannot do that. So when Jessica, I remember Jessica distinctively saying in my mind that there was a thin line between reality and fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to stuff like that, I think she was. I don't know if she was dealing with you, or she was dealing with somebody else. But when you used to draw your characters having sex and shit, do you still agree with Jessica's statement?
Yeah.
There's a thin line between reality and fantasy.
And as a law student, I want to say that Jessica is right. There is a thin line between fantasy and reality because a lot of people will take fantasy and they'll make it into reality. And that's why a lot of people who like draw a lot of shot up pretty much get labeled as pedophiles is because they'll take and they'll do this kind of stuff, they'll draw this kind of stuff, and then they'll revert to the real thing like messing with kids. And I never, wanted to do that. I don't want to do that. It's disgusting.
I understand. And everybody does that in their own way. You know what I'm saying? And just because you draw a cartoon characters having sex, regardless if they're from a children's show or not, or they're kids or not, that don't necessarily mean you want to have sex with children. Maybe you want to have sex with that cartoon character, but that doesn't mean that you want to go out and hurt other people's children. And that's why, too, when we watch Chris Hansen, a lot of pedophiles, you see what I'm saying? They really pisses me the fuck off. Because some of these pedophiles, they do this kind of shit with all and shada, and then they take and hurt somebody else's kid. And every single time I wake up and I see pedophiles do this kind of shit, you know what I say? I said, bro, let that happen to my family. Let that happen to me and my kids. I'm catching a fucking murder charge. You know what I mean? What the hell I say? I don't want to spend my life in jail trying to killing a damn predator. I don't mind that at all. And guess what? And guess what? Guess what? Any parent with common sense will say the same exact thing. Even the Bible states that it's better for them to be hung by a millstone. So, I mean, where's the threat? I don't know. But yeah, Jessica, Robert, Ralgren, and Savannah, and Coda, Wishy, Mary, they cared about you, bro, and you were just too damn blind to see it.
I don't even know if we're still friends.
Hmm?
I don't even know if we're still friends.
When was the last time you talked to any of them? Who was out of all your friends? Who was the most recent one that you talked to?
Savannah.
Savannah? That's the only one? So you didn't like talk to Coda or anyone?
Yeah, it was Savannah and Coda.
Savannah and Coda?
Because Coda would leave comments on my videos and I would heart them and I would respond to them.
So Savannah and Coda are the only two people that you've been talking to. That's recent. So Robert, Ralgren.
I've been thinking about Ralgren a lot too.
Them your friends. And I'm pretty sure they miss you too. They might be talking shit about you, but hey, if let's just say if one of them stumbles upon this podcast and they hear us talking, you see what I'm saying about them, how are they gonna get in contact with you if you ain't got a Discord? How are they gonna get in contact with you if they're not willing to join Gilded? Because you do still have a Twitter, right? After saying you deleted it?
I still have a Twitter.
You still have a Twitter?
Yeah. I said I deleted Twitter because of Chromosome. And you know, I went to Mastodon, but I really just didn't delete Twitter. And I'm actually happy that I didn't because I don't, I started making a lot of friends since around my age, but...
No, just because you DM people that says they're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, it doesn't mean that they're your friends. In order for somebody to be your friend, you have to know them for quite some time. Just like Robert, and just like Savannah, and just like Ethan Arifa and Zara. You knew them for some time. They saw you. They were friends with you since you was in 9th grade, bro. Those are friends. Even though y'all get into beef and shit like that, regardless, it was like, oh, y'all ain't having sex, oh, that's illegal, and all that kind of shit. Y'all was still fucking homies. I don't expect you to trust them, and I don't expect them to hold your hand every step of the way. But you know them more than you know these people on Twitter.
Right.
You do. When was the last time you talked to Wishy?
On her birthday.
On her birthday? When was it, September? So the three people who you've been talking to back then was Wishy, Savannah, and who? Coda?
Yeah.
Coda. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss them?
Like a 10.
A 10? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think that they miss you?
Probably like a 3, because they probably forgot about me. They probably forgot that I exist. Because I made a stupid decision to leave Discord because it's just something of Nyland Scary Mansion. It's I made that stupid decision.
Why do you say that you made a stupid decision to leave Discord? That was your decision. No one's decision is smart. No one's decision is dumb. People make decisions because they want to make decisions. If you want to create a new Discord account and get your ass back on Discord, then go ahead. Ain't nobody stopping you. Just make sure you don't get your ass in any more fucking problems. And I know it's gonna be very hard to do because some people just take offense to every little thing now. So it is possible that even if you're not looking for drama, drama will still come and find you. When you released the Island Scary Mansion, you weren't looking for no fucking drama, but it still fucking found you. When you were doing whatever the fuck you were doing that caused Chromosome to go berserk and shit, you weren't looking for no damn drama, but for some reason it still found you. That's how drama works. So it's just best if you limit your contact with people on the internet, especially teenagers, because y'all teenagers are very fucking sly. Y'all are very fucking extra. Y'all, if y'all can't find no drama because y'all bored in life, y'all fucking cause some shit. Chromosome turned 17 in November sometime, God spare him. He turned 17. Boy soon gonna be old enough to start drinking. You gonna be old enough to start drinking. Savannah's gonna be old enough to start drinking. Brady's gonna be old enough to start drinking. And yet, y'all as teenagers, if y'all don't have anything to talk about that's interesting, like the school or some shit like that, which I want to do when y'all get out of high school or whatever, y'all always stir up some damn drama, some damn mess. And that shit ain't cool. And that's definitely not cool for people who have mental instability, like you and like Chromosome. Because you know how they say Chromosome suffer from PTSD? You were traumatized. Something mentally is both wrong with is wrong with you both. And y'all can't even go a one day. And when I'm like y'all kids, I'm talking about your whole entire generation. Y'all can't even go a whole entire day without talking shit about somebody. Y'all can't go a whole entire day without saying, "Hey, look, y'all did this, you did this," or bring up a past some shit. Y'all need to stop that. If you want to continue to talk to Robert, go ahead. You want to continue to talk to Ethan and Reaper, go ahead. Because that's what friends are for. Robert and Aoife and Savannah and them, when they were getting on your ass about what you were doing, you should have saw that something was not normal, something was wrong with you. Instead, 2 years later, the truth has been revealed that you were traumatized, that you were practically a fucking victim. And you didn't know that until you were a grown ass woman. And you know what? And that's okay. That is okay. They were mad, but they weren't mad at you. They were mad at what you did. And I think if you want to continue to be friends with them, you need to apologize to them and you need to tell them that you know why you used to do the shit that you did. Don't keep this shit no longer a secret to them. A lot of kids when they were your age, when they were like 9, 10, did a lot of disgusting adult shit, and it was because of that brony stuff, that My Little Pony stuff. Y'all just want to enjoy the show, and y'all couldn't without fucking having like kissing and sex and all that, cause that explains why a lot of kids was like hypersexual back then. Every time you turn around, some kid 9, 10, 11, 12 talking about some porn, talking about some who they banging, who's hot and all that. That explains your hypersexuality. That explains it. And it's not your fault. And I keep telling you, stop thinking that it's your fault. But now that you know the truth, you need to make things right with Robert. You need to make things right with Savannah. You need to make things right with Aoife, Narifa. You need to make things right with Zara. And I don't care. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm saying this once, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't care how old they are. They need to know because when you were a child, y'all all were children. And y'all yet steady did that, and you yet steady did that. It was children doing crazy shit to children, bro, and they still doing it. You still got kids having sex with kids. You got kids fucking shooting up kids and shit. Hell, they had a teenager on the news who went and opened fire at another teenager's birthday party, a high school student, an 18-year-old, and that kid's probably gonna end up serving life, bro. His whole entire future thrown away.
I already told Wishy though.
You already told Wishy that you were traumatized?
Yeah.
And what did she say?
And she told me that it was okay. I apologized to her. She told me that it was okay.
It was okay. How do you feel about Alex being gone? Alex or Rhea? Because y'all are pretty good friends too.
I kind of miss him.
You kind of miss him?
Yeah, but I don't think he missed me. And it's really understandable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a chance, you need to find your old friends, regardless if it's through Instagram or YouTube or some shit. You need to find them, and you need to tell them how much of an idiot you were back then. And you need to tell them why you did this. Now that you found out the truth. And y'all need to set boundaries and make shit right. Because let me tell you something. Today or tomorrow, Jessica can go. Today or tomorrow, Savannah won't be here. You never know. And if they're gone, how are you going to explain to them? This kind of stuff should really freak you the fuck out. Because guess what? If they're still young, like underage, they're old enough to understand. Because y'all are all children doing this shit. All y'all. They should have told you that they shouldn't have felt uncomfortable. But at the same time, you should have really listened to Coca Sheen and what she said and not show nobody that kind of shit. And because you didn't listen, you suffered the consequences. But I think we all know now that you're a better person, that you don't do this kind of stuff anymore. Everything's in the past. You need to let them know. You need to get back on Discord on one of your servers. See if you can have Brady send you an invite to one of your servers or something, and tell everyone on there, like Robert and them, everyone on there, how much of an ass you were for not listening to them, and not only that, how you found out why you did the shit years and years later. Because they deserve to know. The whole world might not want or deserve to know, but at least they do because they hung around you ever since you were in ninth grade. That was like 4 years. And even though your relationship was extremely, extremely rocky, y'all still ended up making it out. And that's good. Let me tell you something, Mary. When I was growing up, I didn't have any fucking friends. My only friend was our sister Abby. And even I treated her like shit. But let me tell you how much of a real G Abby is. Even though I was an asshole to her, and even though I treated her like shit, she was still by my side. When I needed help, she was still there. When I needed somebody to talk to play with, or whatever, she was still there. And this was even after I treated her like shit, even before. We shared secrets. We did shit that we weren't supposed to do. And Abby, if she was standing here right now, she'll tell you, we used to make sense of the retarded shit that we used to do. We used to make sense of it, something that no other kid will bother doing. So, with this being said, y'all still had a great friendship, and y'all can continue to have friendship as long as they know what happened. They don't have to know all your personal details, but at least let them know that. And don't make it sound like that you're using it as a cop out or as an excuse. Make it sound like that was the actual reason. Because when a lot of people find out that shit like this happened to them, they always use it as an excuse for whatever the fuck it is fucked up that they have done or that they did do. But you didn't know. You told me that you only did this because you didn't find you guy attractive. You did this because, oh, it's mine that inspired me. You had every goddamn excuse in the handbook, and none of them was the goddamn truth. I mean, when you came out and told me that you found your guy attractive, I was shocked because I never thought that you thought, stuff like that. I knew you did it, but I didn't think that That was the actual case. So that in itself is the damn truth. But the real truth is you were fucking traumatized. You even cried on my shoulder. So what does that mean? Everything else you told me was just a fucking cover for the truth that you didn't even know. It was a fucking alibi. So they need to know. Does Savannah know that you were traumatized?
Um,
Does Savannah know?
uh, I mean, I told her I was baptized, but I didn't tell her that I was traumatized.
You never told Savannah that you were traumatized. You only told Wishy that you were traumatized. Okay, you called Savannah a sister. As a sister, do you think that she needs to know?
Yeah.
She needs to know that, right? So you need to fucking tell her that. You need to let them know, sis.